Chair now recognizes the Congressman from Michigan, Mr. Bishop.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you to the panel. Greatly appreciate your time and testimony today. I'm very interested in this area of public policy, having come from small business myself, having seen the stifling effects of regulation on small business in particular. This particular bill, the H.R. 2315, Mobile Workforce Bill, addresses a concern that I think is consistent with what we're seeing today with the global workforce and in the way in which we deploy our employees across this country. In many cases, we do it without a real understanding of just how well-traveled our employees are. And we have to do whatever we can to ensure that we follow and track our employees, which is an added burden. But I'm very interested to hear, and I guess I'd like to direct this to Mr. Lehman. We have heard today a discussion that suggests that business is almost the enemy of government. And we've heard words like evade and avoid tax liability. And to me, as a business owner, I am aghast at such a thought that somehow I have to defend myself from this suggestion that I am liable in some way, shape, or form, and my business is in a position to have to respond to that. I'm wondering, a business like Masco, to what extent do you dedicate resources to address these issues when a taxing entity comes in on an audit or some kind of inquiry? What resources do you put forward to have to deal with that, to ensure that you can avoid and evade complying with whatever law there is? Is there uniformity to the way in which they approach this process? I know you have the CAP program in your company. Can you explain to us the resources dedicated to what you do?
Yes, Congressman. Likewise, I take it. Likewise, I take it personally when you hear comments about business, because as historically, Masco has always put forth the effort to cooperate with the taxing authorities and comply with the tax laws. So to give a perspective, at the federal level with the IRS cap audit, out of a department of, let's say, 25 people, we probably have about 6 or 7 people that work with the IRS literally on a regular daily basis. They reside in our department. With the Michigan CAP program, we've been able to simplify that process where they're able to come in and over a 3-month period complete the audit with about 2 or 3 of our resources allocated. But again, streamlining and simplifying the compliance and the audit process by the cooperation with these programs. Albeit other states don't have similar programs, we make similar efforts to assist them in completing their task and their job, because we know and we recognize they have a job to do to collect and to assess proper revenues by each company. So, our efforts are primarily focused in terms of how we run our tax department around how we cooperate with taxing authorities.
So who defends the employee in situations like this?
Okay. Well, that's problematic, because again, as the chief tax officer of the company and my staff, we're unable to provide any kind of tax guidance or service, and they're left on their own. And as I alluded to in my comments, we can't even assist their tax advisors who contact us to looking for assistance and guidance as well too. And I think really when you boil this matter down, I think all parties are properly assisted with 2315. I think the employees will be the ones who will be the single biggest beneficiaries from this enactment.
Thank you, sir. Quick question for Mr. Rosen. I had a constituent ask me the other day about the cat tax in Ohio. Their company has no presence, physical presence in Ohio, yet their components, Ohio's commercial activity taxes their component down the line at its end sales position. Can you tell me about this and tell me whether or not BATSA addresses the issue?
Yes, Ohio was the first state to statutorily enact economic nexus with a quantitative threshold. And so the people, the businesses in Ohio and the residents of Ohio loved it when it first happened. So this is great. We're going to get the revenue from outside our state. We don't have to pay anything. This is wonderful. But then we found businesses over time learned, no, other states were following Ohio's lead. Now those in-state businesses have to pay tax to other states. So they didn't get very far. And so the CAT, the commercial activity tax in Ohio, would be covered by BATSA. The 1959 law, 86272, refers just to net income taxes. But a number of states have done inappropriate tax planning by looking at the federal law saying, if we change from a net income tax to another tax, we don't have to obey this federal law. We have that legislative history in several states, and Ohio is one of those. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, may I ask that, for unanimous consent, that a document that I'm holding be entered into the record entitled Employer-Employee Experiences with Non-Resident Withholding. It's a testimonial of several different employers and employees. It's compiled by members of the Mobile Workforce Coalition, the American Payroll Association, and the Council of State Taxation.